With real estate at a premium, Israel is at the forefront of a global movement of building vertical cemeteries in densely populated countries and is now the default option for recently departed in the Holy Land. After some initial hesitations and rabbinical rulings that made the practice kosher, Israel's ultra-Orthodox burial societies have embraced the concept as the most effective Jewish practice in an era when most of the cemeteries and major population centers are packed full. At first glance, the multi-tiered jungle of concrete off a major central Israeli highway does not appear unusual in the city of bland high-rises. Tuvia Segiv, an architect who specializes in dense burial design, said the source of all this is that there's simply no room. The Yarkon Cemetery on the outskirts of Tel Aviv has been his flagship project. As a primary cemetery for the greater Tel Aviv area, its traditional burial grounds are at near capacity with 110,000 graves stretched across 150 acres. But thanks to an array of 30 planned vertical structures, Segiv said the cemetery will be able to handle another 250,000 graves without gobbling up any more land, providing the region with 25 years of breathing room. The Jewish burial ritual is based on a passage in Genesis in which God banishes Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return. Jewish law stipulates that all bodies be buried separately on a layer of dust and earth, but only in Israel does the phenomenon appear to be part of a government-backed master plan. Aside from those who have already purchased their future plots, individual outdoor graves are no longer offered to the families of more than 35,000 Israelis who die each year. Proponents say the new system is more sustainable, environmentally friendly, and user-friendly, providing a more comfortable visiting experience. According to a new survey, over the past 50 years, the number of people with no religion in Britain has grown from just 3% to nearly 50% of the population. Among adults 25 and under, nearly two-thirds define themselves as people with no religious affiliation. The findings present an enormous challenge for the churches over how to advertise their faith and to make it appealing to young people in a more liberal world, where many people are appalled at how the male-dominated church leadership discriminates, especially against homosexuals. If this trend continues, Methodists will be extinct in about 30 years, and the Church of England also faces huge declines by the end of this century. Catholics are currently holding their numbers, probably due to the change of management and promises of reform, no matter how false those promises are. But there's a mass movement towards atheism and agnosticism in Britain. The latest data from the first stage of the 2015 British election study, which is a survey of more than 20,000 people by a team of academics from Manchester, Oxford, and Nottingham universities, shows the decline in the younger population of religiosity. In 1963, Anglicans made up 64.5% of those questioned, compared to 31.1% this year. Other Christian denominations also declined from 23.1% to 7.6%, while other faiths grew from 0.6% to 7.5%, and Catholics also grew from 8.6% to 9.1%. The biggest growth was among the atheists and agnostics, though, up from 3.2% to 44.7%. On the evening of October 23rd, at or around 9 p.m., the monument to the Ten Commandments on the ground of the Oklahoma City Capitol building was destroyed when a vehicle piloted by a then unknown trespasser smashed into the 6-foot-tall granite structure before the assailant abandoned his vehicle and fled. The following day, police detained Roland, Oklahoma resident Michael Tate Reed, Jr., a 29-year-old Christian with a history of mental disorders. Reed had been arrested after he presented at the Oklahoma Federal Building making random threats. He has since also confessed to vandalism, saying that Satan had ordered him to demolish the shrine. Reed also admits to having urinated on the rubble before fleeing on foot. The monument had been the focal point of several lawsuits due to the clear violation of several long-standing state-church separation edicts it represents. After news of the monument's destruction broke, the ACLU released a statement which read in part, "The ACLU of Oklahoma and our clients are outraged at this apparent act of vandalism." The statement continues, "Our Oklahoma and federal constitutions seek to create a society in which people of all faiths and those of no faith can coexist as equals without fear of repressions from the government or their neighbors. Whether it's politicians using religion as a political tool or vandals desecrating religious symbols, neither are living up to the full promise of our founding documents."